Here I'm going to create a DXF file from an image, and I've already pulled the image in, but let me just go ahead and delete this image and then start again. So I'm going to select it, hit the delete key. So basically I've opened up my TurboCAD. I'm going to go up and hit file, and we're going to insert. We're going to insert a picture or an image. We're going to do it from a file. And here I'm going to open up the file that I want. It happens to be this one here. I'm going to select it. I'm going to select OK. And you're probably thinking, well, where's my file? And what we need to do is tell the software where we want to put it. So I'm going to bring the cursor over here and left click and drag down and left click again, and you can see that it's just put my picture in. So now I have the picture that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to zoom in. We're going to do the big bear. I'm going to go over here and grab a line tool, and actually I'm thinking we're going to go with this one. And so what I want to do is create a line around my bear, and of course if I zoom in you can see I can get really close. I don't need to get too close, but we're going to pick a place and start, and I'm guessing we'll just start right here at his neck. So I'm going to click there and then just click out a little bit and just start going around and clicking, and notice the shape of the line as I click around. You can see that it'll take on the shape. Now here's a case where the line needs to come back, and notice I've got it in the wrong spot there really. So what I'm going to do is go down here, and on my toolbar I have this one step back. So if I click that, I get to go back and put that line in a different place, or put that mark in a different place. And so I'm basically just going to go ahead and click around, and we're just going to follow this bear around. And I'm just going to continue around, and you see that in some areas I can get really a great distance from one line to the other, but in general you want to try to stay on the edge, and that's going to give you the best results. So you can see that again I'm just clicking around, and you want to try to capture some of the highlight, like this little offset right here. So I'm going to go one step back, and I'm going to go right on the edge here and down like that, and then up. And again, we start having a curve or radius going on here. And so we're just going to follow this around. And it's little details like this. Notice I have those in there. They don't have to be perfect, but the end result is, as you enlarge this, those details are actually going to stand out even in a large drawing. So here I'm just going to go around the ear, and then we get to this point, and we're going to just follow this around. So I'm going to fast forward through this, and we'll come back after I get around. So enjoy this little trip around. Okay, so it's really important to remember where you started at, because when you get to where you started, you want to click close to it, and then you want to click right click and click close. And what that's going to do is connect that line together. So now if I go ahead and select that line, so we'll just go right here and select it, and then I'm going to copy it because I want to leave it there. So I'm going to copy it, and now if I go ahead and click paste, and now I'm going to paste it, and if we move over here, I will just click it and move it over here, you can see that I actually have the bear. Now I can take this bear, and since I have it copied, I'm going to go ahead and start a new drawing. So I'm going to click new, and we're going to click default. We have a blank page, and now I'm going to click paste, and now I have the bear in this on this drawing, which is a new drawing, and notice my picture is nowhere around. So now I can take this bear, this drawing, and I can save it. So I'm gonna click on File, Save As, and now I'm going to go and put it in a folder where I can find it. And in my case, I'm going to put it in a folder called For Dan. And in this one, we are going to name it Bear. And actually, we're going to name it Large Bear or Big Bear. So how about Big _ Bear? And we want to save this. I'm going to want to save this as a TCW, TurboCAD for Windows file. And I'm also going to save it a second time, and this time I'm going to save it as a DXF file. So I'm going to click Save As again, and this time I'm going to go and select DXF. And so the DXF file should be saved. And so now I have my file. Now let's go ahead, I'm going to close out this. I'm going to go back to the original, and just for sake, this was the file, but this is the actual one we created. And let's just say that there was some detail that I missed, and I'm trying to find this. Everything looks pretty good, but let's just say I don't see anything that's really, everything looks good. Okay, so I see this line right here. Let's say this line right here is too far off. I want to be closer than that. So what I can do is go up here and select this edit tool. And now if I click on that, you can see that if I back out here, you can see that I have all these points. And the blue points are the nodes, and I can move those nodes around. For example, this node, I can click on it and I can move it out here, or if it were out here, I could click on it and I can move it back to where I think it needs to go. And I mean, you can get really precise with this by simply clicking on the nodes and shifting them around. And then the other thing is, let's say I had too much curve. Well, that's what the green marks are, and those are the ends of the curve. So if I click on this green mark, I can bring it in, and I can bring this one in. Notice that whenever I move the curve now, or move the green mark, what I'm doing is actually changing the amount of curve. So you can edit and readjust the line position so that you get things where you actually want them to go if you didn't get it in the beginning. And notice I don't like that at all. So the curve is not very much here and it's not very much here. But if I click on this green line and move it over, and click on this green line and move it over, now you can see that that curve is actually more so on the edge of the drawing. So that's how you can manipulate your curves. So remember where you start, and always click close to connect that last line to the first line. And then once you've done that, then you can save your file, and you are ready to work with the DXF file. In my case, I've saved it, I like it, and it's good, and I'm going to go ahead and send you this DXF file so you do not have to trace it like I did. You can trace one of the others. One last thing I will tell you about is the resize. And so I'm going to go ahead and close this. And do I want to save the changes to this? No, I do not. But I'm going to open back up my Bear DXF file. Or actually, I will open up the Big Bear TurboCAD file, which is here. Notice there's the picture's not here. This is only the drawing. And let's say I wanted to put this on the little machine, which is, let's just say it's 36 inches or 30 by 30. Okay, so what I can do is just click on the Bear, and it's going to show me down here the size that it is. And right now it's 256 inches plus and 134 inches in the Y direction plus. So if I want to make this Bear as big as it can be on a 30 by 30, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to change this to 29 inches. And if I look over here at scale, you see I get a scale number, and that's 0.1132. I'm going to go ahead and copy that number. So if I copy it and then bring it over to scale Y and I paste it in here, now watch what happens to the drawing. It's going to get smaller, but the aspect ratio stayed the same, meaning that whenever it shrunk it down in one direction, it also shrunk it in the other direction, and I still have the drawing. It's just a different size now. So if I click on it, you can see that it's now only 29 inches in the X, and it's 15.2417 in the Y. But let's say we wanted to put it on a sheet of plywood that's 48 inches high and 96 inches long. Well, all you have to do is say, okay, I'm going to put it on a sheet of plywood. The plywood's 96 inches. I want to make it 95 and a half. That'll give me a 1/4 inch leeway on either end. So what I'll do is just click it. I will come down here to the X, and I will put in 95.5, which is a 1/2 inch less than my plywood is wide. And then I'm going to get a scale number. This scale number 3.2931. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put it over here in scale Y. And then whenever I hit the enter key, you can see that I still have the Bear. He's still in the proper ratio as far as X and Y. But also notice now whenever I click on him, he is 95.5 inches long from nose to tail, but he's 50 inches high. So that means he's too high for my 48 inch sheet of plywood. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select the 50.1925, and I'm going to make it 47.5 inches, and that's going to give me a 1/4 inch at the top and the bottom less than what my sheet of plywood is wide. Notice that I get a number over here in the Y direction, a scale number of 0.9464. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put it in the X box, in the X scale. And now when I hit enter, it's going to resize my Bear so that I can get him on a piece of 4x8 sheet of plywood. And in that case, if I click on him now, you can see that he's 47.5 inches high, and he's 90.3812 from nose to tail. So he would fit on a sheet of plywood. Let's say we wanted to put him on a 24 inch by 24 inch sheet of wood, and I'm just going to draw out my 24 by 24 over here. So we're going to say 24 and 24. So now we have a square that's 24 by 24. Let's say this was my table. I can go ahead and click on the Bear, and I can tell him that I want him to be 24 inches from, or 23.5. So 23.5, and you notice the scale is 0.26. So if I copy that, and I always copy because in that way you don't make a mistake by putting the decimal in the wrong place or forgetting what the number was. So now you can see I have 0.26 in the scale on X and 0.26 in Y. I hit enter. This is how big the bear is going to be, and if I bring him over here and we place him down, you can see I can get him on that sheet of plywood that's 2 foot by 2 foot. So now that's how you go about generating a tool path for the item that you're going to be tracing to generate a DXF file, and also how to resize it. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you if I can.